Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to We Can Do This. My name is Julie, and I come to you every Saturday afternoon to talk about self help topics from my experience and from my research in the hopes that it will help you or someone else. So, welcome to my channel. I invite you to please subscribe and please give me a thumbs up if you are appreciating the topics I'm bringing to you every week. And if you know someone who is not currently watching, I do post this live stream after I've completed it every Saturday on my Facebook page. All you need to do is click on the link and you can watch it that easy without having to dig for it on YouTube. So with that being said, I hope you're all having a great weekend. We have sun today. I was really hoping to get outside today. However, it is really windy and just not quite there yet. But next week, it looks like we got good weather finally coming at us. So hopefully in a couple weeks, we'll be good to go outside. So with that being said, I'm going to get started with two things first. Along with subscribing and liking, I need to give you a disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. I have had no medical training. I am not a doctor. I'm not a physician. I'm not a therapist. I'm only me. I am only someone who has been through a lot of different experiences in my life that I felt to bring to you and anybody else who would maybe need some support and some assistance in what they're going through in the hopes that maybe I can help somebody else. So with that being said, we're going to get started on our topic for today, which is living life fast forward. Let's face it, in our world today, we're all just in fast forward mode. We're always in the fast lane, aren't we? And, I know I feel this way, but do you ever feel like that your life is just one big blur? That events and all the days just seem to run together as like one big blob, and the time is just flying by you. We're talking about something, we're not talking about just a busy schedule. We're talking about actually something more than that. We're not talking about being productive. Our emotions, our nervous system, and our stress all are factors in what can affect all of our moments in time. And the fast pace of life today, that we are all experiencing can leave us with a feeling of continually rush, running around. And so we're talking about something deeper, more than just this. We're talking about a true disconnect in between each moment and us. Let's face it, we're in a fast-paced world, and we're going to get into it here, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things here. But, I want you to recognize that time and living fast-paced is something a lot deeper than what I even thought it was. So let's get into it here. So our perception of time is definitely affected by what's going on around us, the people around us. When we're calm and everything is like more peaceful, we definitely see time as going slower because we're in that mode. We're just have the chance to feel the moment, to enjoy the moment. Whereas if we're in a constant state of stress, it leads to us to see time as speeding up like crazy. And, we have this feeling of it's a survival mode that we have that's ingrained to us, right? That goes back to the Neanderthals, thousands of years ago. When we have anxiety going on, and let's face it, we all have some degree of that going on, that keeps us on high alert. And it takes us away from the moment. It's constant, it's a threat, and it can lead to crisis. Our moments just seem to go away very quickly without us really truly feeling them. And this also happens like in trauma. situations. Say you have had a loss of someone that you truly love and adore. And it is very hard in those circumstances and in those times to have any sense of time because your thoughts and your emotions are on a totally different plane during that. And time just seems to be convoluted in those moments. You know, in all of these situations, we have a true sense of time being lost and of our life just passing us by and slipping away without us truly having lived them. Now, when we're talking about time scarcity, I think we need to look at it in a grand scale on one level because our world, let's face it, our world is constantly encourages this, right? We are constantly, it's an enemy that is constantly has us running, you know. And I did find this out, which is really shocking. I did not know that this term exists. Now, this is not something that you are diagnosed with, but it is something that is recognized, and it is called rushing woman syndrome. And what actually defines it is being in a chronic state of being overwhelmed. It drives us to over functioning and to keep going no matter what at our own expense. And I don't mean to take away from men by any means, but I know a lot of us women feel we have the world on our shoulders. I very much do. Between work and home and supporting my home, paying bills and doing food shopping and taking care of medical things, that's definitely on me. And I know a lot of other individuals out there, women, feel the same way, and I know guys do too. But these are deep wounds. Whenever we're going through this, these are deep wounds that boil down to our self-esteem, what we feel we're worth. We have a sense that we don't have any power over what we're doing. And it's just, we feel like we're invisible, like we don't matter. We're just meant to, just keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny. We've been programmed in today's world to believe that time must be earned by being productive and efficient and effective. We feel we need to answer for and substantiate why we need to feel time. The big question, from the world today is, have you earned it? Do you really deserve to feel that moment? When we're going through the things we are today, it drains your body, it drains your mind and your very soul. You feel like your life is just out of control. We think that what we think is whenever we accomplish things, we're being productive, it's going to add to our security and meaning. But what it actually does, it just brings on this huger disconnect between us and the moments that we're going through. And we have to remember that we can't force our emotions and our healing to go faster. Everybody feels and everybody heals on their own time frame. We need to find a way to develop this deeper relationship with moments in time, and not be on this fast track and living in the fast lane all the time. And, some of those things that bring this on is like, number one, how many times have you felt like you're just rushing around, not feeling moments? I think that's me, like every moment of every day, but I know a lot of you feel the same way too, for sure. And we feel guilty if we decide we want to take a moment for ourselves or just take a step back. The world has taught us we should feel guilty and ashamed of that. How dare us? feel that we deserve to have time for ourselves. That's not what it's about. You need to be in this fast lane all the time. That's bogus. Totally bogus. You know, and what we've talked about before and many other topics, boundaries, setting boundaries. And that's hard. It is very, very hard to do that. It's rough. And we always feel like we're never caught up. We're constantly like this hamster on a wheel that we just can never catch. We're always like behind this 8 ball. And, we always feel like we need to overcommit. We need to go above and beyond because there's a sense that we always need to prove ourselves, or to increase how we feel about ourselves and to make ourselves feel well. And this isn't about, I'm not talking about poor time management. That's not what this is. This is about a deeper cultural conditioning that we have gone through in our lives and that we're seeing every day. We need to find a way to reconnect with time while we're struggling to deal with the world's opinion of how we should be dealing with time, earning it, but time is something that you feel, we need to get out of this survival mode. We need to break it down into small ways. And once again, we're back to what we talk about with several other topics here again, too. Baby steps. We need to connect with rest and with digesting what's going on around us and those moments that we feel like are passing us by. We need to learn to say no. Now, it ain't easy. I'm when I can't say no. I know a lot of you are the same way too. But, it's affecting us by not being able to say no. We're not giving ourselves that opportunity to find that calmness, to find that connection with the moments that end up being those in our lives that we look back on and we treasure and we nurture. We need to have more of these moments in our lives versus running around like chickens with our heads cut off. We need to stop listening to not only this external voice, but there's also that little internal voice inside of us, isn't there? That wants us to tell ourselves, well, why do you need rest? You shame on you. No, it isn't something you earn. Rest is not earned. It is deserved. We all deserve it. And it allows us to find the meaning and have meaning in these types of moments. So the bottom line is we need to come back to a sense of healing. We need to heal our relationship with time. We need to create some space for ourselves. We need to allow the deeper meaning of a moment to come through, to take those steps, to find our way back to having these things that are precious to us. And in this crazy world that doesn't want us to do that, it is definitely a challenge. But let's face it, we see these people who get to their later stages in life. They've been in the fast lane their entire life, and look at how it's affected them physically, mentally, drained, and even more severe results of what they've gone through. So we need to really try to find a way to find that deeper connection again, to find these moments. And while it's challenging, there is a way we can do this, but we have to be tough about it. We have to put our foot down and tell the world, you know what? No way. That's your way. It's not my way. I'm important to me. And I rely on me, and I'm going to take care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anybody else. And we deserve it, right? We definitely do. So that being said, That is the end of my spiel on getting in touch with moments in time. And when you're living in that fast lane, figuring it out to get back to that personal touch again. And ending today, please remind you to subscribe and like and share my live stream if you know someone who would benefit. And instead of my teaser, I am going to tell you that I am not going to be broadcasting the next 2 weeks. I have some very fun stuff scheduled. Next week, I am doing something I've never done before, and there's a group of us that are going to be doing it. And I'm very much looking forward to it. It's an outside event, not highly physical, but it is something food related. And there's a bunch of us going, and I'm really, really excited about it. And then the week after that, of course, is Memorial Day weekend. Many of you are going to be opening up camps. You're going to be opening up swimming pools. You're going to be cooking out, having time with family and friends. And that's what we all time. I know we're going to be grilling out. So the next 2 weeks, I'm not going to be here, but I promise you in 3 weeks, I will definitely be back. I've not decided what my topic will be yet, but I will definitely put it out there so you get the notification before I broadcast. So with that being said, I have come to the end of this broadcast, and we're going to do our ending like we always do. And Pedro's here behind me. You see him here behind me. He's been my assistant today, but he's chosen to take a nap. So I'm going to do my ending. Here we go. We can do this. We got this. I can and I will. You will too. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. You deserve it. If I didn't believe in you, I would have never created this channel and wanted to come to you and talk with you and bring these topics to you so that we can do this together. You're never alone. You always have support. Never forget that. So until next time, my friends, I hope you enjoy the rest of this wonderful weekend, and I hope you have a wonderful, safe week. The next 2 weeks, you have a wonderful, safe holiday, and enjoy your time. I hope you have time off from your work with your friends and your families. So until next time, my friends, I wish you the best. Take care. Thank you for being here. Till then.